It worked that time.
It did.
Hey, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Well, it's afternoon. We're in the studio, so these podcasts will probably look the same. Doesn't matter what time of day or night.
You're right. You're right. You know
it is afternoon right now, though.
It is. Currently for us, it is 2:20 Sunday afternoon after church. Here we are.
There we go.
To talk to you about something that we thought we recorded the other day, and it didn't get recorded. So we're back.
Yes.
All right. So for me, just to start off, if you guys haven't watched the introduction podcast episode 100, check it out. It's up on the group page right now. It's actually where we're going. So check out that video. Tells you guys a little bit more about us, and then the direction that we want to kind of go with and what you're getting yourselves into.
Yeah. But you're Brian.
Yes.
And I'm Nathan.
Brian, and that's Nathan.
I'm Nathan. So.
We are related through marriage. He's my father-in-law. So I'll behave.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anyway, take it away.
So this last week there, I believe it was
February 4th.
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
So it was Friday.
It was Friday. We did the first podcast, and then we did another one, but somehow or another it went into La La Land. It didn't make it. So we're trying to talk about the same subject, and I learned something today. Sometimes if you release the information
too early,
it's hard to get that synergization. Is that a real word? I don't know. Back, but we're going to try because the information is very important, and. One of the things that we started off with is, are we recording? I mean, we're live and everything. All right, good. That's good. So a couple things happened on Friday. Number one, Mike Lindell from My Pillow fame released a video called Absolute Truth. If you have not seen it, you should watch it. If you have not been following what is going on in the news besides mainstream media since the election, you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff that will blow your mind. Now, for me personally, I have been paying a lot of attention, and there was very little that I saw that I didn't already know.
Yeah, I would agree. Until
the end. And then it was like mind blow. There was a thing in there about I'm sorry, I'm not from Michigan, but I think it's called Atrium County, and there was a you may have heard of that name because there was and I'm giving you round numbers, but around 7,000 vote that was flipped from Biden to Trump. I'm sorry, it was flipped from Trump to Biden the night of the election, and they found it quickly because they were in an area that everybody goes to coffee the next day, and they're like, "Who'd you vote for?"
Oh yeah.
Well, how in the world did Biden win? Yeah, I mean, I'm in my mind that's how it happened. I don't know for sure, but they caught it, and they said that it was human error. So. I can see that happening. We're
human.
Yeah, we make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We have a small business, and so I put things in the wrong categories and whatever. So I'll give somebody some grace for that. So even though it was done, and it definitely would cause you to think, well, we maybe should check everybody that used this kind of system because maybe they had human error too. Of course, we didn't do that around the country, but to me, it would have made sense to look at it again. But while watching the video, I saw that was not human error because it was actually done where the votes were moved from one candidate to the other candidate in every precinct. So it would have had to been human error over and over and over and over and over. So it was not human error. At best, it was human intention.
Yeah.
But it could also have been computer.
The algorithms, programs weren't ready.
Right.
They weren't set up for the right parameters because the parameters blew out.
Right.
Or blown out.
Right.
So
So, I mean, this is according to what they showed in this video. And then at the end, it actually has video footage of traffic in, we have a, we have a branch of the military that the current administration has not talked to yet. It's called Space Force. And they can track what's going on when the internet is using satellite.
Oh yeah.
And they did. So they were able to track all that stuff. So that came out on Friday. And I just want to give a shout out to Mike Lindell of My Pillow fame, because he is probably more committed to finding truth than most pastors I know, which is kind of a sad statement, but it's true. And so we aren't getting paid from My Pillow. We're not getting kickbacks from My Pillow.
No endorsements, nothing.
But
just us.
Man, oh man, you should go buy some My Pillow stuff.
You know what? Yeah, buy a My Pillow just because.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, it's kind of credible. They have tried to cancel this guy out so bad,
right,
that I watched this last week also happen. Actually, I think it was on Thursday that not Netflix, Newsmax had Mike Lindell on talking about censorship. And when he started talking, they censored him and talked over him. And the host of the show, Sellers is his last name, he literally got up and stormed off the set because he was so upset. It was kind of a bizarre and a very ironic segment.
Yeah.
But anyways, so while I'm trying to watch this show on Friday, because it's a little lengthy and we have a business, so I have to like get it in segments.
It's about 2 hours long.
Yeah. And while that's going on, my wife and Brian are losing their ever-loving minds because a couple hours before the video dropped, Time Magazine put out an article.
And guys,
I just set you up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So this the whole Mike Lindell thing, like nothing was really announced about it, right? It just came.
He announced
right,
it.
So he was personally marketing his video, like it's coming out. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's been kicked off a lot of platforms. So the only real thing he has his website, and then any of his supporters and stuff like that, I'm assuming, would talk about it. I'm making assumptions. Anyway, Times Magazine. I don't think I've read Times Magazine since I was in like middle school. When we did, I don't know, Black History Month or something. I think that's the last time I read Times Magazine. I don't normally read magazine articles. Anyway, Tammy comes over, shows me the title of this Times Magazine article, and it says,
why don't you pull it up?
and I'm going to pull it up here, and you guys can find it if you Google. Let me tell you the title, because this is a little ridiculous. So let me get situated, because it's, guys, we're talking about, I don't want to say the words because right now I guess it's taboo and everything, but everyone knows, so I don't have to really say it. But this is what I'm looking at. Oh nope, that's us though. This is what we're looking at. Okay, so let me tell you something. This is the article, and I had to.
Can you move that down so they can see that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Well, here, let me expand that. I gotta go over here. So
There you go.
this is the title of the article. The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. What? What? Like, I'm glad you can see me, because last time we did this, no one could see my faces right now. And my mind, I'm just like, guys, that's a red flag. Who thought the election needed to be saved? And who decided who the hero was?
The cabal.
Yeah. So
That's in the article, sorry.
it is in the article. Yeah, and this is our first video. We talked a little bit about controlling the narrative. Well, they did it. They did it. They controlled a narrative, and anybody who opposes any opposition to the outcome of the election right now would praise this article. And I'm sorry, it's stupid, because you should be scared.
Absolutely.
Like like we talked about media. People are like, everyone's like, just because Trump said fake news, it's going to be fake news. Look, guys, news is entertainment. Nathan and I talked about it all the time. It's a story. It's a controlled story. It's based on viewership. It's based on who you're trying to get your news out to. Anyway, Tammy and I were pretty livid about this article while Nathan was enjoying the Mike Lindell video. And then we just hashed it out. Not hashed it out, but like we were passionate, like we always are at the store.
Yeah, it's true.
About it.
True.
So I was like, Nathan, because Nathan and I have talked about doing a podcast for a while. We just haven't gotten in. A lot of things happen. And I was like, let's do it. Let's just go down and do it tonight, because this article right here. So, furthermore, this was February 4th at 5:40 a.m. All right. And and you can find it. You guys can read it on the website. Just Google. You can still use Google. They won't censor it because, well, it doesn't say election fraud, but it does say
Fortification.
The fortification of the election. So going forward, I'll be using fortification. Is that the right word?
That's if we're still up after this one. You've used the other word a few times.
All right. So I've taken some notes. So back in 2019, October, a guy, his name will be shown right here, Mike Horzer. I could be screwing that name up, and I really don't care. But he is the senior advisor to the president of the AFL-CIO. And what that is, it's part of the nation's largest union federation, okay? So labor union federation. What he is, he's a big data guy.
Isn't that kind of weird that the words they're using is kind of like Star Trek-ish? I mean, yeah, Star Wars-ish.
Star Wars, yeah, like, exactly.
Like head of the Federation.
For the Federation. And then, we're the Republic. And it's just, anyway. Oh, that could be a fun topic to talk about. The parallels.
Of the cabal.
That's right. And you know what? I played a game, and the cabal were bad. They were big, ugly, monstrous aliens that you had to destroy.
The thing is they're talking about the cabal as these big money people, all right? And we all know, and even if you're in the cabal, you know that money corrupts.
Oh yeah.
And when you start thinking about how much money
some of these people have,
I'm not talking about $1 million, because most of us would be like, oh man,
I think
great.
$1 million.
Yeah.
You all right with
No,
that?
we're talking billions of dollars, and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
And that's just one person. And then you add in the organizations and companies that work together that also gather more billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To help. Anyway, this is what the article talks about. The guy, he's a big numbers guy. Back in 2019, October, he's like, guys, Trump's going to win. He knew back in 2019 based on the numbers. And this is his words. His words, and it's crazy to me. It was only after months of research that he introduced his concerns in a newsletter in October 2019. The usual tools of data, analytics, and polling would not be sufficient in a situation where the president himself was trying to disrupt the election, he wrote. Most of our planning takes us through election day. So he is talking, so he has to find a way to be the good guy in the situation.
Can I interrupt? Okay,
Yep.
So interestingly enough, there's this understanding. The political world uses it best, or should I say most. Therefore, they're the best at it. Practice makes perfect.
That's right.
But if somebody does something wrong, and you know what, if you can remember back when you were a kid, I know for me it's a long time ago, but you knew you did something wrong, and you knew that your parents were going to find out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The best thing to do is get to your parents as soon as possible and tell the story where you look as good as possible for what you did wrong. So at least it helps with sharing your motivation wasn't as wrong as your actions. Right?
Right.
It's called getting out in front of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you do with your story, sorry, what you do with that story is you dilute anybody else after you.
Right. Right.
You literally soften the blow.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You dilute the next person's story who's going to make you look even worse.
Right.
Or actually make you look
better. Or,
the way you are supposed to look.
Exactly.
But if you can get in there first, you can help soften that blow.
Yeah. So his words, just to go back to here, he goes, we desperately need to systematically red team the election so that we can anticipate and plan for the worst we know will all be coming. Guys, I said this before. This is literally if you're going to write a story, you're going to write a cartoon show, you're going to write a movie, this article just set up who the hero is and who the villain. And it's crazy to me just because they hate Trump. That's not crazy to me. They hate Trump so much that they have to personify him as the villain, and they have to make sure that they are just in their actions to feel better about what they actually did. So anyway, first step in what they did was, here's the issue. They presented it. So they go and they call it the Fight Back Table. A coalition of resistance organizations had begun scenario planning around the potential for a contested election. Okay, I mean, we knew Trump knew about some issues that might happen going forward, but they also blamed Russia the last 4 or 5 years with Trump. So
They did.
anyway, they're trying to make Trump's the person that made the election invalid with his words, is what they're saying. Anyway, so begin scenario planning around the potential, gathering liberal activists at the local and national level into what they call the Democracy Defense Coalition. Bro, if I gather people that oppose one person, that's a one-sided team. That's one-sided. You would think in this scenario, you would pull people from all sides so that we know that the election is fair and just.
They did do what they call bipartisan.
They did create. Okay, that's a little. Here, watch this. So,
if you want to call Romney and McConnell and
all those people,
not even McConnell, but Romney and Murkowski and
right.
and Collins, if you want to call that bipartisan, you go right ahead.
Yeah. So the other thing here, so he goes, it wasn't hard to find liberals who saw Trump as a dangerous dictator. Well, no crap. No, like every liberal hates Trump. Yeah,
liberals do.
Liberals. Yeah. Hate Trump. So it can't be hard. Hey, we're gonna try to oppose Trump, President Trump. Oh yeah, I'm against that.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's because all they heard for 5 years. All they heard every day from mainstream media was Trump's bad, Trump's bad, Trump's bad. He's going to kill us. He's going to get us into wars. He doesn't know protocol.
He's a danger
so
to democracy.
He's so stupid. Yeah, danger to democracy.
Danger to democracy. Guys, I don't care. That's a controlled narrative. And they fed it to people for 5 years.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody hate somebody they'd never met before so much. It's kind of lazy.
It's like,
crazy. It's lazy too.
Yeah, it is lazy.
It is lazy. Because people weren't thinking for themselves. They were just going by what.
And even if they're like, oh, I don't watch mainstream media. I don't even get on the news. No, but you're influenced by other people. You're influenced by the people that you're with and you're hearing and what you're reading. You don't have to hear something from a news source to know that you are subliminally not liking Trump, because it's everywhere. It's like how McDonald's colors, red and yellow, make you hungry. Or the word McDonald. It does something to you. When people say Trump, you're either for him or against him.
It definitely causes a trigger.
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah.
Good or bad. It definitely causes a trigger.
So,
No question about it.
Anyway, just a couple more points here. The chief. All right, so he goes and explain what happens with other countries. He's trying to compare the United States to other countries that lost their hold on democracy. So the chief difference between the U.S. country and U.S. and other countries that lost their grip on democracy, he concluded, was that the America's decentralized election system couldn't be rigged in one fell swoop. That presented an opportunity to shore it up. What? The title is literally How They Saved the Election, Shadow Campaign. And this guy literally, first off, he compared the United States to other countries that run differently, whatever. But he's also identifying a hole for them to use. And a strategist, a person or not, if you tell me there's a weakness and you're calling it an opportunity, the coin is, you see the good and the bad. Like, so for a person to identify it as an opportunity also knows it's a weakness, which also then introduces opportunity
to
fortification of the election. Anyway, so and also to help with the election is COVID-19. He says then COVID-19 erupted at the height of the primary election season. Normal methods of voting were no longer safe for voters or the mostly elderly volunteers who normally staff polling places. Again, more opportunity, right? Anyway, this is the alliance, and this is the other thing. So I talked about how they stacked the sides, right? So in this alliance, we got the labor movement. We got the institutional left, like Planned Parenthood and Greenpeace. Guys, we already know Planned Parenthood and Greenpeace hate Trump and his administration for what they did or trying to do. And it's crazy to me that people... we watched, there's something else. Like, it goes into the whole abortion thing. I mean, like, guys... Yeah. Trump, and there's Christians out there. They're like, Trump was the devil. Trump's the Antichrist. Trump is evil. No, he had things in place, and he had things in place to prevent evil things from happening. Abortion. But no, we're able to fund that abortion across seas,
all over the world.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then other groups like Indivisible, Move On. You got racial justice activists. You got state level grassroots organizers. You have all these people stacked against him, or not stacked against him, but a team that's literally made to hate Trump.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the article is really good. It breaks it down, securing the vote, and they do a really good job. Because you know why I know? Tammy posted clips of this article because it's a big article, and you clip what you want, and you clip the things that speak out to you because, they matter and it's important. So she posts this, and somebody, won't mention names, but somebody on the other side who oppose our ideals, and that's okay because we're people, we're allowed to do that. But some people's, she had the audacity to be like, yeah, that was not in the context of the article. What? First off, that sentence is disturbing because context is based on the person that's perceiving or receiving the information. You have what the intent of the author is, but then you have the contextual information being received by the person who's actually reading the article. So it's in context to Tammy, not this other person, right? And obviously, anybody reading is going to be biased, and anybody writing is going to be biased. So we have lenses that help us, but it's in the context of what we perceive. And so when we make statements and we have fact checkers, what do we call because of this whole censorship moderation thing, fact checkers are also biased. I don't care what anybody says. They're biased because they are they're supporting their fact check with information that they believe is right. And this whole article talks about a team of people who deemed what was disinformation, what was the fear of spreading the disinformation. Guys, if the party isn't fair, if it's not set up to have both parties, you have a one-sided argument that's supported by one side. It's not. So why is it okay for one side to say this information's wrong, this information's right, when the country is already divided?
Yeah, this particular article talks about even how they got people to change voting laws in the states right before the election to help fortify this election. I mean, they admit right in it. It's pretty amazing. Now, I wanted to say something. I heard this story a while back, and it kind of relates here. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that what Hitler was going to do before he did it, what would you do to stop him? Okay. That's a legitimate question.
No, for sure.
Somehow or another, you know ahead of time what he was about to do, and you have any power whatsoever to stop him. What lengths would you go to? Okay. So I believe that these people are admitting to the fact that they were thinking that Trump is that bad. He's been called a dictator.
Right? Been compared to Hitler.
Yeah, he has been. So here's
even
the thing.
The country's been compared to Hitler's Germany.
Yeah. Now here's the really weird part. Okay. Trump walked off the scene on January 20th. Biden now has the capital of the United States wrapped in a prison
Yeah.
with military, and he's writing executive orders every single day.
Yep.
At a pace that no president has ever done. I don't know how the man's staying awake long enough to do it because, no, sorry, didn't mean to go there. But the thing is if you want to talk about a dictator, what we're seeing right now looks more like a dictator than what Trump was doing. Trump never said, take that person off of Twitter. Hey, take that person off. They're saying the wrong stuff. He never did that.
Nope.
But they're doing it now.
Yeah.
Over anybody who disagrees with the left's narrative.
We're all and like they created, and they'll blame Trump for it, but 100% they created the environment of anybody that opposes us is a radical extremist. Domestic terrorist.
I know, which is kind of scary because if you're watching this video,
you're a domestic
that's
terrorist.
probably you.
Yeah, it's not crazy because the way the world is now, or even just the United States is now, it's the ability to control information. Even thinking about Hitler situation, number one source is to find way to cut and break up any kind of communication ties, information ties. Make sure you're getting, you're putting out as much information, and they say that we're the conspiracists, there's too much propaganda on our side. Say what?
Yeah.
But people have gotten so lazy, and I want you guys to read this article because you're going to see it a lot more probably. And a lot more people are going to be like, yeah, they saved the election. But it wasn't. They are literally rubbing in our faces that they had their hands on
On the scale.
On the scale. And the takeaway from the video or the article is that if you are wealthy enough, if you have a cause or a cause that can be rallied by a good amount of people, and by a good amount of people, I mean like a handful of people with a lot of money and wealth and power, you can change any outcome. And that's what happened. And Times Magazine is literally admitting that. So if you take that context of information that I just gave you, in that context, that means that what they did diluted every American's vote. every opposition no vote. It strengthened the other side, but in all honesty, it could be, as we know, as corrupt as a lot of politics is. That swing can go both sides. It's just Times Magazine wanted to spin the narrative that it was just and that they didn't have their hands in rigging the election. It was fortification of the election. Anyway, that's my takeaway. Read the article. Find it on Google or New York Times Magazine website.
Or DuckDuckGo.
Or use DuckDuckGo. Life, get used to Facebook and Google, and you forget that they actually are corrupt and use your information for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So check it out. Anything you want to add to any of that? There was a lot more things I highlighted. It's better for you guys to ingest the information, and then we can talk about it later. Just because it's mind-boggling to think, because we talked about dilution, voter suppression. Actually, it was fortification of the election against voter suppression. And what did they do? They suppressed our vote. Anyway.
Well, no, I think you kind of covered that all. And we're trying to keep these podcasts approximately somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes. So that way you can get stuff in bite-sized pieces. And so we'll try to do the subjects in that sense rather than just kind of go all over the map, which we will too. We'll do that too.
We'll be back and forth.
But anyways, until next time, you guys.
Ooh, we need a catchphrase.
Yeah. Be blessed, guys.
Be blessed. Stay untethered.
There you go. God's not done.
Yeah, that's the big message right now too, guys. God is not done. Nathan's a good reminder. We're always together. So he constantly says God's not done.
He's not done with this thing.
So if you guys are feeling any doubt,
think about it this way. All right. We're already over in time.
We're over there, but
yeah,
we'll
I just want to give
this.
this. All right. Yep. I put this note down earlier, so I'll use it now. All right. Injustice, as in LA Law, the show.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Or whatever. Those cop shows. They found a formula that works really, really well. In the very beginning of the show, they give you the injustice.
Oh, yeah.
Because people want to watch. How is that injustice going to be fixed? Because we don't like injustice. We like things to be just. And so this is my thought process on this. The injustice has already happened. Now we're going to watch the rest of the show and see the bad guys get caught. Hey, you guys, have a good one. See you later.
Bye.